Bam, there I am on YouTube. Howdy folks. And here I am on Twitch and on Kick. So if you're watching me on one, Twitch, Kick, or YouTube, remember, you can also be watching me on another forum entirely. So, yeah. I'm going to quickly get up, turn off that kitchen light. You see I got sunlight coming through here. It's a nice bright day. It would be a great day to bring Rizzy out. Hey, bud. But he hasn't pooped yet. And, fool me once. So, plan for right now is to spend about an hour doing some artwork. What I have propped up on the screen right now is my Krita user interface, and I've got the cover that I started to put on with the light blue up above and the darker blue down below as like a panoramic horizon type view, and I'm deciding I'm not going to go with that. The other image that you'll see, I got that creepy little doll reaching up towards the camera. I'm going to be tracing that today in order to get the basic shape in, and what that is a small action figure, Forma, something, that's basically created for doing exactly what I'm going to be doing, which is the posing and the tracing and the referencing in order to get the shape. So right now I'm playing around with a concept that is closer to what I originally had in mind when I started this project. This whole book, this whole image of Arista, my mermaid in Drowning, the Lonely Isle, available on Amazon, currently on sale. I think you can get it right now for like $1.99 for the Kindle download, which I highly recommend you buy the paperback. This is the cover I generated for it. And AI tells me is too racy and inappropriate because you can see their backs and they're embracing one another, and there's too much flesh tone, which feels racist somehow. And then, you know, the boobs. Like this is inappropriate. And I'm not sure how I'm going to cover that because she's bare-chested. So I have to do something with water effects and hair, and I don't know. But the concept for how I do my mermaids is born out of pubescent dreams that I had as a child when I was about 12, maybe even younger. I'll admit it, I had a crush on Ariel from The Little Mermaid when I was a child. I did. I watched that movie so many damn times. And so I actually started to have nightmares about mermaids. Not the good kinds of dreams that you have around that age, but nightmares where I was way too technical, way too biologically focused, and like, how would a mermaid actually like exist? How would they be realistic? And that's why I wound up with, well, I mean, they would have a vertical fluke to their tail, not the horizontal one that we see in most mermaids, because fish have vertical flukes. They don't have horizontal tails. That's ridiculous. That's mammals. Manatees, whales, they have the horizontal ones. Vertical is what a mermaid would actually have, so the motion would be more serpentine and not this floppy stuff that they show. And then their hands. How would they have ordinary human hands and be living in the water? Their hands would be webbed, for one, to help them, you know, swim a little bit better. Probably have wicked-ass nails for grabbing fish, because what else are they going to eat? And then, like, I expanded that further with the octopus-type skin that Arista has in the book on her forearms. And then there's the teeth would be different. Like, they would have gills. Like, there would be more than just, like, top half woman, lower half fish. Like, it's not that... Cut and dry feels like the wrong expression. Cut and fish? No, that's not better. But yeah, there's just not enough thought as far as like the anatomy. And maybe I'm taking the magic out of it in a desperate attempt to make them real. But it's how I operate. And so they're horrific. They really are. And in a lot of myths and a lot of legends, if you get away from the fairy tale Disney version of it, they're horrifying. They seduce sailors to jump into the ocean, and then they drown them. Now, it may be playfully. They may not have malicious intent. It could be a certain level of malevolent innocence, about them, but they're terrifying creatures, and I think one of the most terrifying aspects is how they get you to drop your guard and put yourself into a dangerous situation, and then drag you into the unknown, like women. So yeah, my concept is yeah, so this is closer to the image, to the shape, to the look of what horrified me as a child, is the mermaid coming up from darkness and extending that hand in invitation and dragging you down. So I like that this model's hand that I have on here is, that's my sweet potato. I'll be right back. No. Oh, hey buddy. Hey buddy, I opened up your blinds. Dude. So now you got more light coming in? Yeah? Sorry, I'm messing with my buddy's lighting so we can get more sunshine on his little fuzzy body. And then spice the top up. That is not done yet, so I can hit timer for another 15 minutes on that. Put that light off so I'm not paying for electricity that I'm not using. Because, yeah, finances. Alright, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so, yeah, this image is closer to like the image that used to horrify me, the idea of mermaids coming up from the blackness. Now I'm looking at it, I'm like, why not? Why do I need to be that set or that dead on? Let's go Control T. Okay. Okay. You hit the rotate just a little bit so we can skew that angle a little bit. So that the hand is higher. I feel like that's better. And I want to say it's Fumato. This fuzzy effect that we have on our hand. The way that it blurs as it gets closer. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to capture that as an artist visually. I'm thinking like I want to draw a normal hand, paint the normal hand, do it in layers, and then apply a blur tool in order to get that effect. And then keep the face sharp, and then have other features blur as well. So like the midpoint where we're focusing on her head and, you know, the boobs that I'm going to have to figure out how to tastefully cover. Hair is going to be the easy way. Those I want to keep crisp, and then as the details get closer, I'm going to want to fade them out, and further away I'm going to want to like fade them out and blur them, and then use shadow from below. So it's a lot to figure out, but the best way to learn is to do and to fail and to just try. So that's what we're going to do today. Alright, I'm going to shrink OBS, and boom, now I can actually see my Twitch stream. So if people want to talk at me as I'm doing this, Twitch is the place to go. Twitch is the one that I monitor. I don't really pay attention to Kick or to YouTube. For the hell of it, I'm going to pop over. Apparently I have followers on YouTube other than myself and my mom, I think, or just people watching my stuff every once in a while, probably on accident. Billionaire. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry. I hate the way billionaire founder of Minecraft slams anyone advocating using AI to write code as incompetent or evil. Well, go fuck yourself, buddy. You made an entire gaming franchise that minimized art assets. Fuck you. Fuck that guy. Like, that's the most anti-artistic shit I've ever fucking seen in my life. And yet, it opened up, a door for creativity and whatnot. But still, I hated that game. As an artist, as someone who went to college for game design as an artist, hated that shit when I graduated and Minecraft became the fucking craze. Like, what the hell? Oh. If you use AI to generate code, you're incompetent and evil. No, you're a fucking artist. You can't, why do I know how to program? I didn't want to learn how to program. I paid so much money to learn how to do something I didn't want to fucking do. Still mad I went to college. It was a waste of time, waste of money, waste of mental health. View your channel. Boom. And let's see, what do I got? I got total meh with a little, I don't know what that is, icon. I appreciate it though. And then Gilded Horseback 6. Jack Dace, let's make you popular. Nesnaha.com. Okay. Alright, so that's me just popping in to Kick real quick to take a look at it. What's up, Total Man? I will be closing down Kick. Again, if you want to talk at me, if you want to, bullshit, Twitch is the way to go. Close that, back to Twitch. I suppose, let's look at myself on YouTube real quick. I don't know, I'm messing around with this. I'm mildly interested in my my online presence today. I don't know why. Jack Dace. 4 subscribers. Really? I have 4. I know I'm one of them. Well, and it even shows me live there. Hey little me. Interested in my my online presence today. All right. Oh wow, the icon it puts next to me or on my video, that is old. I gotta replace that. Groovy. Huh. It's interesting. Curious right now. I should be drawing, I should be working, and now I'm all distracted by myself. Groovy. Two were watching me. Oh, and so somebody is watching me right now. Okay, cool. Interesting. Curious right now. I should be drawing, I should be working, and I'm all distracted by myself. And I can hear that delay. All right, 4 subscribers. Awesome. Two were watching me. Oh, and so somebody is watching. I'm going to turn that off just before it turns into an infinite echo of me bullshitting with myself, which I could do all day. Alrighty, so we're at the stylus, we're at the tablet, we got the image of the doll, the figure. I would pop it out for you, but she's way over there across my apartment right now, and I don't feel like getting up, especially when I got my spicy katafa softening up in the oven for me. Sweet potatoes are loaded in vitamins, folks. And I've been shaving pieces off of one for a couple of weeks now to feed to my lizard, so I'm going to get that one eaten because I bought a fresh one today. Not that anyone needs to know that. Alright. I got a little glare on the screen because of the sun, the infernal sun, which is at the wrong angle to give us fun time sunshine weather, but perfect for messing with my visuals right now. Rizzy, have you shit yet? Rizzy? Can I take you out? I feel like I get more viewers if I'm holding a lizard. No? Okay. Some trays around. head. Using kind of feathered strokes right now. And took this with a flash on in order to intentionally create these dark shadows that I have on the shape. So here's this shoulder over here, underside of the arm to come up. And we got the clavicle line. So I meant to get to this sooner, but I got into info dumping and eating lunch. I watched a couple videos on how to write a romantasy novel, just to, see if I made any mistakes. And it turns out, for someone who doesn't actually read the genre, who only writes it, I guess knew what I was doing. And these boobs are too big. Like, I'm gonna have to play around with the boob shape. It's gonna make me feel a little bit like a pervert while I'm doing it. But yeah, too round, too pressed together. Why are they so pressed together? We'll get some of the accent lines in. Base of the neck. Here. Do a little something here. Shoulder. And I suppose let's draw in some of these joints, so I know where to section it. Because like everything that I did right here, that's going to be one layer. And then this forearm section, or not, upper arm section, this bicep, that's going to be another layer. And then probably two more layers. Do one for the forearm, which is this, and then another one for the hand, which is this fuzzy thing in the foreground. And it's so fuzzy, it's hard to really make out the details of it. But I'm hoping this ultimately gives me something that's going to be more interesting. Like I wrote something that it's not your traditional romantasy. I realize that. I mean, it is, because there's a whole like will they, won't they type of aspect to it. There's conflict, but at the same time, like I end with the happily ever after. Sorry if that's a spoiler for anybody who hasn't read it yet, but that's apparently a prerequisite of the romance genre, is people expect the happily ever after. If you don't get them the happily ever after, maybe you just wrote a love story, maybe you just wrote a tragedy or a drama. One for the mouth, bottom lip. A little something to indicate the nose. Get those base lines in. Okay, we got a hip down here that I can kind of see. So again, that'll be another layer, shadow underneath her, and then we can see the foot coming back down here. So that would actually be where you'd be tapering into some tail. Some tail. So again, that would be another layer, and then probably fade to black in that area. So, son of a bitch. So what I did wrong was I did not create another layer. I did all of that sketching, all that draft pencil work on the same layer as my reference image. So that was all just practice. That was just practice. So now I hit Control Z and see if it actually will let me delete all the lines that I just did. And that's how many I can delete. Okay. So, been 15 minutes. Let me go check on my spicy katava. My sweet potato. See if it's squishy soft yet. Rizzy, no poops? Why no poops, Riz? You look like you're getting ready to curl up for bed. I still don't trust you enough to pull you out, though. Yeah, so he's settling down for the evening. Okay, so alright, so 4 is the layer that I had originally put in order to do that. But then I went down a layer in order to move stuff around and make it more of a canted shot. Oh, who is that? God, was that one of you? Shit. Disappointed in myself. I went and grabbed some minimum groceries, without spending too much of me and my wife's savings, and forgot to get fizzy water. So Beer Chug, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I didn't grab the bubbly water, and I need to keep you entertained. Okay, gonna go down another layer. Boom. Drop my opacity a little bit since I did the whole mess up with the blue lines. I mean, I suppose I could outline it a different color. Right now I'm just doing like a little tracing of this image. Really, I could be blocking it out and taking it straight into separating it into shapes. But I think I'd rather take the blue line and use that. So in, because I don't have to work that small. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get rid of... Boom. Let's make that layer invisible. The grid that I had up with all the numbers and letters and all that stuff is the actual layout that you use to figure out the spacing for the cover. So when you generate your cover with KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, you can have it give you a file that shows you exactly like how thick your border is going to be and where the edge bleed is going to be and all that fun stuff. So then you have template. Stop. Then you end up with a template that you can use in order to make sure that everything is scaled appropriately. And that was not canine abuse, but I did give her a little bonk on the head with my stylus. Yeah. The clavicle in, this is where we go dark, but I'll just lightly suggest that. Go around, get the shoulder bump, make it a little bit broader. Using very fuzzy lines. I will be worried about getting them straighter and crisper and smoother when I get to the inking phase. I mean, tight lines is beneficial. And again, we're doing the boobs, but this is not the right shape. I actually imagine Arista's being smaller. Smaller breasts. Because, I mean, the last thing a mermaid needs in the water are flotation devices, right? They don't need to be airbags. They need to be something, if anything, they're going to be a little more angular. They're going to cut through the waves. And you always got to wonder, like, how mammalian are they? Do they have mammaries? I never even discussed that in the book, if she's got nipples or not. I have her walking around topless all day, every day, and never bother to get into it. So I'm going with the pyramid method for the nose, just real light, real simple. So I've got like the basic shape, but I'm going to deal with that on other layers. As I actually like sketch it in. Arm shape. So this is bicep, upper arm. So you get those details. Go ahead and put in the lines of the doll. And then I'll use that to determine how I set up my layers. I'm not 100% how I'm going to do this just yet. The best method would be draw it out, get the line image in, and then paint it. And paint it and paint it until you no longer need the line art. Until the actual shadow and the strokes and everything else kind of come together in order to make the image defined and to come out. And that would give me something that would look more like what you would expect from traditional kind of fantasy style art, which I do absolutely love. I mean, who knows, maybe in another life, if I was a grown-ass man trying to do this stuff in the 80s, I'd be doing that old school barbarian type of art that like I grew up on, that I just adore, like the Conan and the early efforts at Kull and the original He-Man type stuff. We got palm there, thumb. Sorry if the image of like mini me down in the corner is all dark and shadowed because of the light. I'm wondering exactly how this middle finger is supposed to go. There's that. I've gotten some really good reviews on my book. Like I'm up to like 3 whole reviews on it, and magically written, and every line is poetry and stuff like that. And that's nice. That's nice. I need to read some other authors' work and then really step into the author community make a name for myself, and find my people. And importantly, find an audience so I can get paid for doing this stuff. Speaking of, book is available on Amazon. Drowning, The Lonely Isle. $9.99 in paperback, which I highly recommend. Or I have to change it. Something like that, you do a fade to black. Just get rid of that, and then because I got the blue thing that is not visible, alright. That gives me a start. It gives me a definite start. So let's take a moment to play this gradients. See, there's a gradient tool. Shape. Radial. Okay, so what this should do, let's create another layer, is bam. Okay. She saved his life. Now she may never give it back. Conical. Okay, that's a no. Just playing around with gradient shapes right now. Spiral. Okay. And what about radial, but then we flip the script, so we got white to black. No. All right. Go down to the paint layer. Swap that. Go back to the bucket tool. Change our color. So it's a deep dark blue. Boom. Okay. Okay. More of a sort of an indigo blue, which is more of my favorite color. Even closer to like I don't know, almost a navy. And then we flip that. Go back to our gradient. Expand outward from the center image of the mermaid. Oh, so that creates something kind of ominous. We can go smaller. Go tighter. Okay. Go up a layer, at plan, and let's center this on her face. Too centered on her face. Go out. No, let's do that again. A little bit more. Okay, we're going to go from face, right center point on the face, to the end of the boob. I feel like that's kind of doing it. Because that would let me suggest boobs, but I could like fade off on boobs. It would let me minimize amount of skin tone. And then I can play around with the opacity. At the same time, I feel like that brightness needs to be directed more like center with her features, like the eyes. You want to bring it to the eyes. Boom. Okay. Yeah, that definitely does something. Ugh. While we're blocking this in, let's pop that back up. And then let's open File, open Recent. It's the back, it's the side, Critifile. So one thing that I fucked up in, I accidentally, pardon my French, accidentally went and that doesn't have the treatment, does it? Shit. So I accidentally lost my original Critifile that has all my layers and moving parts by not saving properly. Okay, that's back of the book. It's the tagline. It's by Jack Waltz. Lonely Isle. Drowning. And I don't have one, which is supposed to be here. I'm being kind of lazy. I just want to reuse assets at this point. I don't want to have to create new stuff. I just want to like copy layers that I've already done for the old one. Which is pure laziness, but still. That's just art. That's just a JPEG. Okay, so I do have the Critifile. Bam. Yes. Oh, no, I don't, because these are all just layers. See, and maybe if I would have kept this original style where I used a darker gradient, I wouldn't be getting as flagged as much for like skin tone and stuff. Oh well, this is a journey. It's a frustrating journey, but it's a journey. Like, I need an author page. I need to get my Substack going and be contributing and generating writing material for that. Like, I should be doing a weekly blog on top of the daily writing that I'm doing. And then I need premium content so I can charge people for admission. And then I need a freebie that's just there in exchange for people signing up so I can get their email, so I can create a mailing list, so every time I generate a new book, I have people that I can contact and get my pre-sales. And if I get my pre-sales, I can raise my sale ranking on the very first day and boost my visibility, so I'm more likely to sell more copies in the first 2 weeks. Because if you don't sell a bunch of copies in your first 2 weeks, you're apparently dead in the water. Even though It could take years for a book to take off. And if you really want to sell a book these days, you got to sell the IP to Netflix or Hollywood or somewhere else so they can make a movie or a show or something out of it where people are like, oh, this is interesting. There's more to the story. I think I'll buy the book. And then you can become a New York Times best-selling author. So it's all very simple, really. It's just, I'm the fuck up because I can't do it all simultaneously and just it out. That was a fun vent. All right. And meanwhile, I gotta look for a job, and I gotta take care of my animals, and I gotta try fixing my marriage, and I'm fuck fixing my marriage at this point. I need to focus on me, just me, because I love my wife, but I don't want her fucking life, and I'm so fucking sick of all her goddamn fucking fake ass people. I really am. Some of the most superficial, false individuals I've ever had to fucking deal with in my goddamn fucking life. Just petty, fucking horrible. Just cowards. Shitheads. Alright. Gradient. That's that. Okay. I want that on. I don't know if I want that on right now. I definitely don't want that on right now. Okay. It's my original layer. I don't know why, but my ears are burning. I want to say it's because people are talking about me on Kick. No. No one's saying shit on Kick. Oh, wow. Okay. Why would I do this to myself? Or I have to draw everything sideways. So much easier if I just would have kept everything like horizontal and even and straight. Let's pop that up again real quick. Okay, so I got the ears here. So I can use that as a guide. It's about where the eyebrows would be. Yeah. Bottom of the ears for the nose. So I got that mask space in, and then eyes. I want our eyebrows to be. I want to do something like this. I kind of want. It's a combination of Beauty and the Beast and The Little Mermaid, but as a fairy tale for adults. So Prince Garrett gets trapped on a cursed island after a mermaid rescues him from a storm, and then it seems like she doesn't want him to leave. kind of a soft look. That's too close together. So then again, those are just lines. It's looking way too soft and anime-ish right here. I blame the doll that I'm using as the reference. I mean, that smile isn't helping. Let's go down a layer and get rid of that. And thanks for the comment, Brit CX330. Appreciate it. No. Alright, why am I working so small? Look at you, girl, you're all smudgy. It's looking way too soft, way too nice. This is not the Arista from my story. She needs to look savage and fierce. I need some reference art to go on. Yeah, so the issue that I'm having is my current cover is a little too racy, and so AI flags it as being inappropriate, so I can't do promos for my book. Well, I mean, I can post the image of the cover of my book, but it won't get shared publicly on like TikTok or Facebook or anything like that because of too much skin. And while you might want to think twice about joining the cartoon AI trend, oh, fuck you, Google. Why do you gotta like just trigger my distraction? What do I want? Fierce looks. What if I just do femme fatales? The Epstein files come for Hollywood royalty. Well, are we actually gonna fucking do anything about it? Or are you just gonna be like, huh, that's interesting, but we can't cancel Hollywood or shut down politics? Femme fatale. Let's see. You know, someone else has suggested that. I mean, it's supposed to be an underwater scene. But yeah, I suppose I could try a layer of just adding waves in order to break up the image a bit. But I feel like the image is already so strange. But yeah, thanks for the suggestion. That's worth giving a shot. Like, I think you're the third person now to bring up, like, what if you just took like a wave shape and put it over her chest? Yeah, some sort of like water distortion. What I'm going for right now is something that's a little bit closer to the original concept that I had for like mermaids. Like when I was a kid, I used to have nightmares about mermaids. So I'm trying to play off of that. That's kind of what the book is based loosely on. Let's do a copy image, and then let's see. I wonder if it will just let me paste the image in. No. Damn it. Wait. No. Paste layer? What would that do? Nothing. Okay. Yeah, bubbles are another option. I do have the bubble brush going. I mean, I asked another AI, how do I trick AI into letting me accept it? And it did suggest just busying it up a little bit. Like if I were to add a border, that would just add more content that could possibly throw AI off. Or bubbles. I could have bubbles framing them to cover up the back, because apparently showing bare backs is an issue. So, yeah, hide the bare backs, hide the chest, but then it just feels like I'm just throwing a bunch of clutter onto it. But I do appreciate the suggestions. I mean, yeah, conveniently placed fish. All right. Save image as. Pictures. Save pictures, references. Femme fatale. Fascia. Does it have to be a W-E-N? Yes, it does. Okay. Layer. Actually, will this work? Insert as new layer. Yeah, sweet. Sweet. Wasn't nearly as complicated as I was making it out to be. Okay. I mean, at the very least, I could do something with bubbles and waves and whatnot to trick it while I get something else. Like this in place and done. Hell yeah. That, see, right there. Just more menacing over the brows a little bit. Better shape. See, and this is why you should always use reference. More alien. Definitely uneven. Bam. Bam. Let's go with that. Enter. Control Shift A to deselect? Yeah. Okay. Pen tool. More of a realistic type of mermaid. That's kind of where I go into more of the dark fantasy. Like, her arms are like an octopus's skin, in that they can morph and change shape and webbed and have claws and whatnot. And then her tail is more of a shark than the flat fluke mermaid, which makes no sense to me. Like, she's definitely predacious, and I'm playing off the whole dark myth of the mermaid, where they seduce sailors and drag them down to their death. Down this layer, go ahead and just get rid of this. Cute little button nose. Nope. Yeah, I suppose, but it's not really in the book description. So I'd like her to be as she's described in the book. Why am I working this small? I don't have to work this small. We do the lips right, the little subtle hint of a smile is fine. There's that nose. So the worst part, noses are disgusting. Possibly long lashes. And what I like about redoing the cover like this is having a chance to hopefully get that eye effect to where she follows you, which I can pull that off quite a bit. Okay, let's go to the chapter 1 description. Still gripping the barrel, he plunged his head beneath the surface, cheeks swelled with held breath, peering into the ink-black depths. Lightning tore the sky open, and for a single horrifying instant its flash bled into the deep. He saw it, or rather, he saw her. The hand that seized him was a grotesque shade of green and black that nearly vanished into the dark waters framing it. Its fingers were webbed in texture, the texture uncanny, slick as eel skin, yet rough as stone. When he clawed at it, the grip only tightened, clamping around his ankle like an iron shackle. Panic surged. As he felt down the wrist, past the forearm, it changed dramatically into smooth skin, soft, supple, the unmistakable slender arm of a woman. Fragile to the touch, but when he tried to pry it loose, it held with unyielding force. As the next flash of lightning erupted through the sky, the illusion of fragility shattered. Black stripes banded the pale shoulders, cords of unnatural strength shifting beneath fair skin, and then her face. The storm froze around him. She was beautiful, hauntingly, impossibly beautiful. Eyes wide with wonder, lips parted in something between delight and hunger. Her innocence was a lie carved in perfection. It struck him harder than the terror, this strange, surreal loveliness that made his will falter, made the last of his defiance slip out in a trembling sigh. Long nails combed at his scalp as she stared into his eyes with startled curiosity. Another splitting of the sky and an echo of thunder lit the sea as darkness ate away the edges of the prince's vision. Her fearsome, lovely face was framed by purple hair as wild as the storm, brow and cheeks banded like some ancient sea warrior or like a predator of the deep. And then a better description. Aha. In that moonlit stillness, he saw her clearly, truly, for the first time. Not as he had known her before, in furious flashes of lightning and thunder. Here she was peaceful, serene, as the subtle tide. She spoke, her voice still threaded with music, but Garrett's mind could grasp no meaning. He was too consumed with taking in her otherworldly allure. Her face was short and softly rounded, almost girlish, until the sharpness of her chin drew his gaze like a hook. Her eyes were enormous, framed in impossible lashes, narrowed in a predatory charm he felt rather than understood. Her lips were full, lush, the blue of a summer ocean. Her hair fell in long purple waves that seemed to glow like the water's surface, turning each lock a bold magenta. Dark violet stripes ran across her face like those of a tigress, streaking down her high cheekbones and framing a small square nose that sat at the center of her face like a jewel. Her neck was long and slender, yet carried a subtle, stubborn strength. At first Garrett thought the dark bands circling it were more of her violet stripes, until he realized they were gills, the same gills that had filled his lungs in exchange for stolen breath when she had held him beneath the violent storm. They flexed faintly with each wordless note she breathed. Her shoulders were banded with predatory markings as though meant to frame an elegant gown, though nothing covered her chest. There the womanly part of her was adorned by two of the most exquisite breasts Garrett had ever seen in life or art, not large but flawlessly shaped, round, firm, crowned with delicate peaks he longed helplessly to reach. Her skin, where she was woman, was impossibly smooth, flawlessly without blemish or scar, glowing faintly in the moonlight. She sat bare and completely unashamed, almost in mockery of the tattered embarrassment Garrett chose to hide himself with. But her hands were something altogether different. They were dark ochre, the color of deep seaweed, fingers webbed and tipped with a hooked talon like a feline's, meant to seize prey so that escape was impossible. There was a roughness to them, too, as though the stone she perched on had shaped them from its own ancient grain. Then there was her tail. It was an appendage so vast it could have been a second creature entirely. Pale gray, perhaps dusted blue, like ancient ivory waiting to be polished. Fine, sleek scales covered a length nearly twice that of her torso. Along its sides rose fins as thick and sharp as sword blades, and the tail ended in a pair of scimitars, the upper longer and more curved than the lower, both built for speed and killing grace. It wasn't shaped like the dainty horizontal flukes of children's tails. This tail ran vertical, true to a real fish, built for serpentine motion, for cutting through the deep, for pursuit. Something primal in Garrett's mind whispered, "Shark," a cold, ancestral warning that should have sent him fleeing, but her beauty dulled it, softened it, overwhelmed it. And As that instinct shrank into silence, another, older, more dangerous, pulled him helplessly forward. So that's the description of her mermaid form. I'll be right back. I got something in the oven. No timer. No timer. Hello, Mr. Potato. Are you dripping with juices? Begging for me to eat you now? Alright. So yeah, I make kind of a big deal about the bare chest. Yeah, it works for now. Let's see. Okay. The cheekbones. More of an evil in. It's a little bit like Frieza. For hair, I just go nuts. Just do a lot of loose strands. Like frame it out for later. You're looking just raggedy at first. And I'll use these all as guidelines later with a special brush, because I actually have her hair designed to be like sea anemone, because I don't like the idea of the silken haired mermaid makes no sense. It would just be one solid dreadlock and sea creatures would be living in it and shit. So like I make it slimy and it kind of have a will of its own. No. Oh, that's right. I was going to play around with title treatment a little bit too, where I got too far. Just throw on some lashes here. And let's look at this. Try these out. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I mean, especially on this new image that I'm working on. But with the other one, the hair is kind of up because she's taking them down. Hence the whole drowning title. I mean, the way I see it, I'm just setting it up where the current version that I have becomes more of a collector's edition. That's not right either. Yeah, but then I'm still having to change quite a bit in the artwork. Like, here I've already got them embraced, not reaching. And the embracing, I thought, was saving me because then I got the forearm covering the front of the breast, and at the same time kind of hot because, like, the curve implies that they're actually pressed against him, and that's where it gets a little too racy. So it's too much flesh tone, too much back, too intimate of an embrace. So there's like 3 different things that I'm being flagged on. And yeah, I could throw some stuff onto the cover and put a border around the whole thing and try to busy it up. But I feel like that really cheapens it. Like, I kind of like this. A lot of people say that it's strange and it throws them off and it's non-traditional. I've had people tell me it looks like it's just hodgepodge together. And given the current climate and the way everybody's doing stuff, a lot of people are surprised that I actually drew it myself. I mean, I could also try tricking the AI by taking the gradient layer that I have going over everything and just darkening it up so it's more shaded and it's less of a skin tone. So I could use like a dark gradient in order to surround them a little bit. But I do kind of like the direction that I have going right now. Like, this is actually what I had in mind for my original artwork. This is what I started with, and I felt like this was too complicated, so I went with the other one instead, because it felt like a simpler design. That's pretty not bad. And just like that, she's cross-eyed. Alright. This is where we cheat a little bit. Alright. This, hit the shift key. Boom. Hit the move tool. Okay, then we hit the transform tool. Select it and again hit shift. Shift makes sure that we maintain shape and we don't warp and skew anything. Go back to the move tool. I do Control C, Control V, boom. And this is good practice. I'm currently in the process of writing the second book in the series, and I'm going to have to do a whole cover for that anyways. Alright, I'm not mad at that. I do like that. I need to get in the title treatment in order to help space everything out, but that feels like a good start. A good start to this touch-up, and then I might do something with the tail going into the background, but when it comes to romantasy covers and romance covers, there's a couple of ways to go. Where one, you want to show your female lead in like a strong position, a position of power. And here I have her reaching up, which seems like, weak feminine, but at the same time, it's that femme fatale feminine allure. So I like that. Or there's what I typically see in romance covers where they just have like a really muscular dude on the cover without a shirt on. And I feel like that objectifies men far too much. I will not support that. And then there's the one where it's weird symbols and shapes and objects from the story that's not sexy in the slightest bit, or it's total cartoon, basic stuff. So I like the one with the strong female lead, and she dominates the story. Like she's the rock star, by far. It's all about Arista. And it's Arista's world, and we're lucky to live in it. So, yeah, I gotta do my title treatment next. Okay, so that's got all the elements, but not in the right order. That's the JPEG, blue back gradient, the side art. Nope. All right. Well, that's an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and take a break on this. Thank you so much for joining me, Brit CH330. I appreciate you and all your feedback and suggestions. It's been lovely. I'm going to eat a little something, walk the dog, and then I'll probably be back on with another stream later, trying to finish the chapter that I was working on this morning so I can get it done today. So, hopefully you'll join me for that too. Peace out. I'll be back. Close that. Shut that down. Don't need that up anymore. Hello, OBS. Stop all. Stop.